Hello again. I'm Will,
And I'm Johnny.
and together
we're
we're
Will and Johnny.
we have we had a
we
very
had.
interesting chat about a topic which we wanted to raise, and it's to a certain extent there's a certain controversy in it. The
Yeah.
question we would like to discuss today is the classic food court dead?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And at that point, the heart is in the mouth, isn't it, for so many of you? Because we've all got lots and lots of food courts. And I think today is not about being critical of
No.
any particular one.
No.
But I think there's a really important discussion point to be had here, which is there a future for food courts? If there is, what is it?
Mhm.
And what is causing us, you and I, and others, to think about this now so much?
Now, when we think of food courts,
Mm.
for the last couple of decades, to be fair, with some exceptions, the food court pretty much represents always the same thing. Bunch of restaurants, joint seating, some operator, the mall operating, kind of cleaning the dishes, usually not necessarily nice or inviting or whatever. It provides food as like an oasis in the desert. You don't really care as long as there is water and there is food. You drink it, you eat it, and then you leave.
I hate to correct you,
Yes.
but it's not restaurants, they're kiosks.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
But I know what you mean.
However,
Brands.
and sometimes it's not even brands. Sometimes
No,
it's just
it's
local, whatever. So at the end of the day, that's how we experience food courts now for quite some time. Music was horrible. There was nothing else.
But let's go back to the story. The story was that you could create this amazing environment where people could go, they could choose their own food.
Yeah.
You could have chicken.
Yeah.
I could have burger. She could have pizza.
Yeah.
We'd sit at the same table and we'd be really happy consuming our food together.
But that was the pitch.
Exactly.
That wasn't necessarily what we
what's
all
the
have
re-
experienced.
What has the reality turned out to be like? The reality has turned out to be, yes, it's a common area. Such a small number of people actually buy from other kiosks.
Mhm.
That's partly down to payment systems.
Mhm.
It's partly down to the fact that some countries still like cash and some only operate cashless. And I think what it's done is it's sort of highlighted the weaknesses of food courts. From an operator perspective, obviously EC's got lots of them.
Mhm.
And we're very proud of a number of the ones that we've got, but like every business, there are others where I suspect we would want to improve them. The key for me, Will, is that there needs to be a certain level of volume for these things to even pay for themselves, let alone pay back big rent.
And we had this, had this discussion when we talked about market polls. For you, if you're interested, a couple of episodes back, when we talked market polls, and one of the key things we said was you need volume to make it work.
Yeah.
And I think it's also fair to expand that a little and saying, to what you said before, it was meant to be a variety of things where people can pick from certain varieties. But when you actually go there, there's a number of dominant players. They grab the majority of the traffic, and the rest literally hangs dead on a tree. Sorry for saying it, but that's the way how I experience them.
Well,
most of the time.
certainly, the vast majority goes with the big international brands if you have them.
Yeah.
I think where you don't have those, and I'll take somewhere like Food Sky, Europa Passage Hamburg for ECE, where those brands are elsewhere in the centre. They're not in the food.
They're not in the food court.
We've got an amazing array of quality food brands that are local, regional, and national, but not the mega brands.
But not the mega brands. Which I think, by the way, there is a couple of examples out there, which I think is a smart way of looking into it, because it gives you a bit of it really creates interesting variety versus dominant corners where you say I have to go there, because I really like that. I really like that.
If you look at some of the mega centres, the Oberhausens of this world, they've got literally every brand under the sun sitting in one space, plus a huge range of restaurants.
But that's a good one. Do you remember when Oberhausen opened, right? Coca-Cola Oasis, way back in time. We are old enough that it just reminds us how old. When that opened, it was spectacular because somebody put effort in the way how it is created.
Yeah.
You remember the fake facades,
yeah,
the house, the whatever, the cupola, which was really nice.
Wow.
That was not something we were used to, because before that was not the way how we looked at it. And we copied that for quite some time if we had the opportunity. I think that was more special than
Well,
the actual offer.
it was a copy in its own right,
Yes,
because as you know, it was Eddie Healy and copied from Meadow Hall. And I think, you know, you're absolutely right. It did things in a new way. But I guess the challenge now is that we're faced with a lot of food courts across Western Europe, a lot of which aren't performing, a lot of which have huge service charges, because cost of labour to clear tables, cost of labour to run dishwashers, cost of labour to wash crockery, and all the other bits that go with it, the machinery, the services, the electrics, you know, all that stuff. Really, really expensive to do that. And, you know, you need to take a lot of money. And what we're seeing now is that operators are spending as much on the service charge as they are on the rent, and in some cases even more
than the rent,
charge.
actually.
And, you know, that sort of, you know, everybody always used to say, well, food court, it's a destination, isn't it? It's like a department store. And as soon as people say it's like a department store, I hope it's not.
I hope it's not, because there's not great stories to tell about department stores.
But, you know, that's because it's somewhat stuck in time. And I think, you know, what I've been really interested in is taking some learnings out of what's been going on in the market hall business, because market halls are kicking food courts' arse at the moment. I mean, it's really impressive to see how they are managing to put together brands that maybe one or two operations in a city, in a space, really narrow menus, only 4 or 5 items on the menu, but doing it really well, a great vibe. And ask myself the question, why can't you buy alcohol in a food court, but you can in a market hall? And is that the reason why then that market hall then is busier in the evening and the food court's not? It's not all about booze.
No.
But actually that creates a vibe, along with better furniture, better upholstery, better music, better entertainment.
I honestly think when you look at the hot market halls we both know, we talked about this a while ago. Sometimes the furniture is not great, but they pick you up where you want to be. Is this, you have the feeling that it's actually a good vibe, a good atmosphere. I can hang out there. I eat my burger and it feels honest and raw, so to speak. It doesn't have this. It doesn't have this. Yeah, you know what I mean. Kind of raw in regards to. It's not over created. It's just something where I can sit there, have my food. I have a good atmosphere. I have good music. The whole vibe is great, and I love to be there. And obviously, then in these environments in Europe, because obviously GCC, different story. The alcohol plays a role, because I want to eat potentially my burger with a beer.
I guess my question is, which bits do we take? Which bits do we not? And what actually, if you took a food court nowadays, you were given the job, okay. I mean, when I was working on Might Style, okay, I was working for Coverpoint at the time. It was my business. We were then into JLL, and then I became part of Alexander Otto's team at ECE, which was amazing. But that was a conscious decision at that time. And actually, it was funny because we met at the Meydan Stadium in Dubai. That's how I got involved with ECE, through the amazing Jane Rafter and RLI. And we were sitting there, and they were saying, we don't think we want to create another food court. That was a long time ago. That was ECE a long time ago. So the thinking was there already. And what Might Style ended up becoming is not a market hall, but it's an amazing collection of restaurants and kiosks on the 4th floor of a shopping centre. So somewhere between market hall and food court, there are a whole bunch load of options. That means we don't have to keep designing the same thing every single day.
I agree with that.
Straightforward kiosks, 6 service points, 100 seats per kiosk. Knock it out and then be underwhelmed by what actually gets, no matter how good the designers are, underwhelmed by what actually gets finished at the end of it. You know, and that's the bit.
So back to our initial question, actually, the food court in its classic form is, in my personal view, the more I look at it, in its classical form, it's over.
Good. So we stopped building them. I think that's happened already. We have to start repurposing the ones that we've got that aren't working. Fine. And that means maybe turning them to a great little tip, actually. First thing to do, get rid of the central seating area. turn them into restaurants, as you
Restaurant
said at the
seating.
beginning. So each kiosk has its own seating area, and then the operator is responsible for clearing and cleaning that area, and the whole thing becomes cheaper for everybody, which means that they can still afford to pay a rent, despite the fact that the turnovers are not going to be stellar and spectacular. So that's the first thing to do. Or you can just wipe it out completely. But if you keep it and it's got good enough turnover, you've got to keep it fresh. We've got to bring in some entertainment. We maybe should think about alcohol.
I think I agree
A
with that.
little bit of it.
The entertainment
Yeah.
piece, I buy
Yeah.
fully,
Yeah.
because I mean, I think it's proven. There's a certain tendency of people today in the way how we develop. Individualism plays a role. We want to be picked up individually. I don't want to. The one size fits all approach is not working in a way as it did in the past.
No.
Yes, there is a certain level of consistency which I like, but generally, I would like to feel that this is the place for me. So you need to kind of add elements which people would expect today, and I think the entertainment element, the element of experiencing something more than just giving, because then you could put a robot there or a food out of the wall. You just push a button and food comes out. That nobody
I
wants
think
that.
that's
really.
the funny thing about them when you look at food courts at the moment. Even some of the new ones, you know, you and I were out in Riyadh together.
Yeah,
and
Al Mamlaka was awesome.
You know, Al Mamlaka, Simon, TGP.
Well done.
What
Great
an
job, guys.
incredible
Beautiful.
team. Unbelievable piece of design, unbelievable curation. And this could have been just a really average food court. It's not. It's an amazing market hall. It's best in class. If none of you know it, contact us.
Yeah.
And we'll show you this
We
thing
show you
because
the thing. It's
just
just
astonishing.
unbelievable.
And with no alcohol. It's got, I think, 3 bars in it, but they're all selling 0 alcohol.
Of course, Saudi Arabia.
Substitutes, but they are still really cool places to be. And actually, one of the bars looks very similar to the sort of quality bar you'd see in a stunning hotel environment or a Fortnum and Masons. It's just beautiful. And I think that shows to me that we can do this. We just need to have the vision, great design, obviously, but the vision and the desire to do something that's not just cookie cutter. The
Bit of
same
courage
as,
and
the same as.
a bit of courage and desire to do something different and not playing the same thing or just changing the color of chairs and think it's different.
Because I think, especially with the volume of food that's on the high street now, doing, and you know, bless them all, the McDonald's, Burger Kings, KFCs, Popeyes, doing those inside in a food court is actually less beneficial for those brands than doing them outside on the street. Because in the street they get nighttime business. So unless you, as landlords and operators and developers, can give them that nighttime business, you're immediately shortening their trading day.
Since you said that, if you look at the international trend of the bigger brands, the way how they look at their portfolios and the way what they close down the things which do not have a full day trade. Everything which is just too limited because the cost is the same. That's why they built their drive-through and freestanding units and move more and more out of inner city and locations which do not provide that. So if you could create a kind of a broader spectrum of day parts, you might actually keep them. Otherwise, you might actually
let's
lose
be
them.
controversial. You have to. Otherwise, we will lose them.
Yeah, I agree.
We will lose them, and that's why, you know, we always talk about day part. Very seldom when you're talking to a leasing team, apart from the food fighters at ECE who completely get it, I have to say. If you talk to them about day part, they're always there. Okay, we're going to be doing an operator who does breakfast, one who does lunch, one who does afternoon, one who does dinner. They get it. But those day parts are actually the thing that pays the bills. And if all you've got in a shopping centre is a good lunch and a little bit of dinner,
it's not enough.
It's not enough
Especially
anymore.
not with the split in the weekdays to the weekends. Doesn't work that way. All right, I think we're coming to an end.
So I hope that helps.
Yeah.
There is a future for food courts,
but in a different way.
Guys,
it was a pleasure.
Good luck.
Good luck.
See you all soon.
Take good care.
Ciao.
Bye.